What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with another Destiny 2 commentary. And today I'm going to be talking about something that just has become more evidently clear to me over the last few days regarding Bungie and what appears to be either a complete lack of creativity on their part or just a desire to put things into Destiny in the cheapest possible way for them. Not wanting to spend any money on development, not wanting to take the time to develop new items, and how they just continue to reskin and recycle so much content, even from Destiny at this point. And that's kind of what we're going to focus on today. And what I'm mainly talking about is the gear and the exotics that they brought into the game, especially with the Curse of Osiris, which was a $20 DLC that they recently released for Destiny 2. And it kind of amazes me that for this $20 DLC, you get essentially what boils down to maybe 2 hours worth of unique story content, which essentially is the same content you play throughout the game, just grinding through pointless levels with very little narrative, for very little payoff in the end. And of course, what they always talk about for all the DLC releases is all of the new gear and the new armor we're going to give to you. That is if they don't lock it behind their loot boxes within the game. But I've been looking at some of the armor and weapons and things that they brought forward for Curse of Osiris as part of this so-called paid DLC. And I just had to laugh. I was reading a PC Gamer, and they actually were showing screenshots of all the new exotics that they put into the game. And so I started looking through them, and many of them seemed very familiar. And when I go through some of these on this list, they're going to sound pretty familiar to you. So we're talking about, we'll start with some of the new armor they brought in for Curse of Osiris. One that stands out right away is the Helm of Saint 14. This was an exotic that was in the original Destiny that many of you Defender Titans probably really enjoyed using. They brought that in to Destiny 2. The Graviton Forfeit, that was a hunter helmet that again existed in the original Destiny. The Stag, it's a little warlock helmet that makes you look like you have a deer skull or with big old horns on the top of your head. That's back in Destiny 2. Oh, it's hilarious at this point. Shinobu's Vow, Hunter Gauntlets that improved the skip grenade ability. Yep, those are from the original Destiny. Mark 44 Stand-Asides. Yep, those were a Titan exotic in the original Destiny, and they're back in Destiny 2 now. Oh, let's move on to some of the new weapons that they brought in for Curse of Osiris. Oh, look, it's the Telesto. Yep, that was definitely an exotic fusion rifle with void damage from the original Destiny. The Jade Rabbit is also back. So, look at that and call it what you will, but I see a whole lot of stuff coming back from the original game that they did not have to spend a dime of development on and could just very lazily throw it back into Destiny 2. Which is odd to me, especially when they said they weren't going to let us carry any of our stuff over from Destiny, yet here they are carrying their own stuff over from Destiny in the shape of weapons and gear and items. Why should we design new stuff when we can just bring in old stuff that we don't have to really put much effort into? And I think that kind of describes Destiny 2 in a nutshell. It's just a very lazy approach to the game, to the design, to what's in the game. Even one of the other exotics they brought in with Curse of Osiris, which is the Prometheus lens, is a reskin of the Coldheart exotic trace rifle that they offer to people as a pre-order bonus. So literally all you did was draw a new paint job on it. You could have just given a weapon ornament for that instead of trying to talk about how you're putting all these new weapons and gear into the game. And most of the other stuff is just reskins. And it's really disappointing to see this from a developer with how lackluster and lazy the content is they put into the game. It's just, there's no effort behind it. No effort whatsoever. It just appears that they have no desire to give you anything decent or new or exciting, which really is kind of sad because if you look at the universe of Destiny outside the game, if you go and look for some of the lore, this could be a fascinating and amazing sci-fi universe if they would just present it to us in the game. you know, even like in a story style like Halo gave us, it really, even though it didn't spend a lot of time like say a Mass Effect game did, it really brought you into the universe and kind of, you know, told you what was going on, and you kind of had a good idea, a good grasp for things. They've got this really unique universe that's very deep, that you would never know from just playing the game, and yet they seem to just fail to make anything unique and cool that would fit into this universe. Instead of bringing weapons in from Destiny, why aren't they creating new, unique, and really cool weapons that are truly exotic? That's another problem with the game, is the exotics just don't feel exotic. They just look like your run-of-the-mill, just crap weapons. They're not very good. They're not standout. And the ones that usually are get nerfed into the ground. But just from a design standpoint, why is it you have to constantly reskin stuff and just bring in the same crap over and over again instead of making some cool new gear? I just don't understand it. Even when original Destiny 2 launched, you had the Mida multi-tools in the game that they brought in from the original Destiny. They had a lot of weapons that they just kept in, they're just brought over instead of creating new stuff. Hard Light, you know, came over from the original Destiny. Just ridiculous how they just continue to reuse and recycle over and over and over again. And this is something we saw in the original Destiny, where most of the first couple of expansions were essentially running the same maps that you already had, backwards, with the same enemies and the same bosses. That's pretty much what they're doing here again. I mean, if you look at some of the other armor in the game, the insurmountable skull fort, that was in Destiny. The ACD feedback fence was in Destiny. The Crest of Alpha Lupi, just all of these, the Doom Marcher boots, all this stuff that the so-called exotics, like, you could probably go through the entire like armory of Destiny 2, and I guarantee you close to 50%, if not more of it, is probably stuff that they just brought over from the original game. It's sad. It's not even something I'd be upset about. It's just sad. It shows the state of Bungie and just how they're just so lazy. It's like if they have to spend a minute of development time, or if it's something that might possibly cost them a little bit of money, or they might have to hire someone to create some new cool content, they just don't want to do it. They would just rather bring stuff back from the old game, or reskin something that's already in the game. It's like the faction events they had, where they talk about you know, you go through and you work all week to get to help your faction win, and you're supposed to get this really cool faction-based weapon that they have and only your faction has, and it turns out to just be a reskin of crappy regular green items that are already in the game. It's like I can't remember which faction it was, had a sidearm that was basically just a reskin of a green sidearm you got at like level 2. So it's very obvious at this point they don't want to put a whole lot of effort into developing. And if this is the kind of effort you see just, you know, for the DLC that they're bringing out, where they're trying to save the player base because people are jumping ship with Destiny 2, how does that speak for the future of the game? Do you think you're going to see any really cool, unique stuff come out? I don't. You know, this is kind of Bungie in a nutshell now. Look at us, and how much stuff can we reskin? How much content can we run backwards? How many game assets can we reuse without having to be creative or give our players something exciting and new? And it just, it's kind of frustrating, but it's really, really sad to me, as someone who used to be a huge fan of Bungie, somebody who pretty much a lot of my gaming experience on console was around the Halo games, and just an amazing community back when Bungie was running Halo. You know, they fostered such a great community environment. It was just, you know, very little toxicity. They listened to their player base. They were very open with the player base. The communication was spot on, and they gave the players all kinds of tools to enjoy the game and create their own content around the game. And it was just really, really a great time. And to see the level they've fallen to with Destiny, maybe it's Activision's influence, I don't know, but, you know, to see them come out and they're always so condescending to the players, and we expect too much and everyone's entitled, and they have this very arrogant attitude now, and it's almost like it's them against the players now. You know, you go back to the first Destiny, anytime there was a bug or something that they just called an exploit, like the loot cave, you know, it was like, oh, it's something that helps the player, we got to take it away out of the game right now. It's got to come out of the game right now. We got to patch this instantly. But if there was a bug in the raid, or a boss encounter wasn't working properly, or there was some, you know, encounter breaking bug it took 3, 4, 5 months to fix. Meanwhile, they're lying about Crucible lag and, you know, oh, we're not testing skill-based matchmaking, and then a month later, oh, sorry guys, we were testing skill-based matchmaking behind your back. Just it's just sad to see what they've turned into now. And I think this is just a microcosm of the overall state of the game, where it's like, you know, instead of, you know, trying to give us something new and interesting and unique, it's like, we'll just bring back a bunch of exotics from Destiny for our paid DLC. Here's all the new gear you guys are paying for. Guess what? It's stuff that was already in the game for the last 3.5 years. Congratulations. Oh well. Anyways, guys, I've rambled on about this long enough. Feel free to let me know your opinion and your comments down below. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.